Happy birthday, Taurus. This whole video is going to be dedicated to the sign Taurus, which is the second sign in the zodiac and also rules the second house in the zodiac. So if you've watched some of my other videos, or if you have just even a real basic understanding of astrology, you know the second house rules what we value, our money, our possessions. But even more importantly than money, it really rules what we value. So when I do somebody's chart, I look at the second house to see, what inspires them. And for a lot of us, it's not necessarily money. I've talked about freedom being a big thing. Some people are value power. Some people value, home and family the most, but it's basically what you value. And it also is, what kind of job you're most suited for, because we do have to have work here to pay bills. So I look at the second house and aspects to the ascendant and also the 10th house to determine what that person would be good at. And that's how I have sorry, I'm getting a text message that I'm reading. So that's how I determine the kind of career that somebody would be successful at, basically, as I look at the second house, the 10th house, and some other things too. It's a process. Astrology is a little bit of a process, So these astrology videos that I make, as you guys know, are super, they're super basic. It is Western astrology I'm talking about. I'm not talking about sidereal astrology, although I do follow sidereal astrology too. The degrees are going to be totally different. For example, in Western, I'm a triple Scorpio. In sidereal, I'm a triple Libra, and some things are different with that. But both systems are accurate, in my opinion, and I like to research and study both. So when it comes to the sign Taurus, we're talking about a fixed earth sign, they're all about stability. Remember, Taurus rules banks, finances, stuff like that. So it's Earth. Now, astrologers say that Venus rules Libra and Taurus, but interestingly enough, a lot of astrologers really do believe that the Earth rules the sign Taurus, which I think makes a lot of sense. These people, they have an earthy vibe, Now, I know I feel like I kind of like reiterate myself all the time, and I have to kind of, because you might be new to even watching these videos that I make. I'm giving a very basic reading with the sign Taurus. So even if you're a Taurus sun and this doesn't sound like you, that's most likely because you got your moon somewhere else, your rising sign somewhere else, Mars, midheaven, whatever. But for a basic summary of the sign Taurus, we're talking about very practical, down to earth, earthy people, very sensual people. On the positive, these people can be incredibly loyal. They are a fixed sign like Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo. So they also have a tendency to be stubborn. So, I always say as loyal as people can be, as stubborn as they can be too, because they don't want to let go of whatever it is that they have obtained, whether it's an emotion, a grudge, a person, a possession, what it is, an idea, a goal. So they can be obviously very ambitious people if they put their mind to it. But the bad side of that is sometimes you do got to let stuff go and change course, because that's where mutable signs and cardinal signs and all that stuff, that's where they have their place, because it's all about balance of everything. So with Taurus, a sun, we'll look at the planet Venus to see where that is, to kind of describe that person more, and that's called Find the Ruling Planet, and that's a system too. But with the Taurus ascendant, I see more of a sensuality, they're usually a little bit shorter and stockier in build. Of course, it depends on what's aspecting it. But if you can picture that kind of earthy vibe, one thing I have noticed, and I really have noticed, is the midheaven is so under explained, and the midheaven is our career. It's up at the very top of our chart. It is so important. It is so important because the midheaven is not only the planets, up at the top, which everybody can see. It's your public standing, but it also can kind of color your personality and even the way you look on top of the ascendant. And that's my opinion, because of years of doing this and doing people's charts. That's what I've noticed. A Taurus midheaven or Taurus aspecting the midheaven gives a phenomenal voice and a lot of, and I mean singing voice. You guys know I do voiceovers. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actually like a singing voice. My mom has a Taurus midheaven, was always a very good singer her whole life. She doesn't like sing anymore, but like that is a Taurus midheaven. So because Taurus rules the throat, Taurus does rule the throat. So the moon in Taurus, if you have the moon in Taurus, you really, I think, won the astrology lottery in this lifetime, because it is exalted. The moon is exalted in the sign Taurus, which means that it's really working phenomenally with the moon. And the reason why is the moon, our nature of the moon is so emotional, right? So put in there an earth fixed, stable, down to earth sign with all the craziness of a moon, and you have somebody that's very, very practical and can control their own emotions and can help people control their emotions as well. So again, I'm not trying to make this like crazy long, but the positives of Taurus, and I'm talking about the sun, the rising, the moon, the midheaven, is they are loyal. They are, well, I don't know if being stubborn is they're, they persevere. Okay, that would be a better way of putting it. They have perseverance. The negative is they can be overindulgent. And that's with anything. I would have to look at the chart to see what area that is in, you know, whatever vice, whatever, but they have a tendency to overindulge some things because they're into the earthly sensual pleasures, you know, that's what they're all about. So another thing I want to say is sometimes I'm going to do a video about why we don't seem like our sign. And I know I've gone over this before, because Mercury and Venus in all of our charts are either in our sun sign, 2 signs before, 2 signs after. So a lot of my, I know a lot of people of every single sign, and I've noticed that a lot of people with a Gemini sun or a lot of that going on, a lot of times tend to be really into gardening and the earth and planets, like the plants, you know, and they're really into that kind of stuff. And it's most likely because they have planets in Taurus. Because just like anybody else, we usually have planets in 2 signs ahead of our sign or 2 signs after. I don't know if I just made sense, but I was trying to make sense. So 2 signs before, 2 signs after, you know. People often guess me as a Libra, but I'm a Scorpio, but I have Mercury in Libra. So that's in Western astrology. So, you know, we come across a lot of times very different than our actual sun sign. So think about that and notice the people that really do have a green thumb, because that's a Taurus thing. I think that they're good at anything earthy. You know, they do have to watch out for extreme stubbornness and stuff like that. Another thing I've noticed, and I'm not trying to insult Taurus, is they tend to be pretty sometimes flat. And because they're not like overly emotional, or they don't, unless they got some Neptune, Pisces, whatever, Scorpio, Pluto stuff going on there. And so I'm making a broad statement here. But a true Taurian vibe is going to be kind of flat. Totally opposite of me. So, you know, it's like something could be on fire and they're like, oh, look, there's something on fire. That's like how they are, where everybody else would be like, you know, screaming, you know, that's not to say they're not feeling turmoil inside, but the way they come across can be super duper flat. I don't want to say boring because that's negative. But they can be that way sometimes. So they kind of have to watch that too, you know, to kind of keep it a little bit of emotion, and excitement is good. But overall, it is a loyal sign. It is a fixed sign, and it is a sign that can persevere. And that's really what's more important. So happy birthday, Taurus. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.